to reach the kind of numbers you're talking about, this board thinks that that is A, doable, and B, the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that thinks also that the way that Tesla is going to reach that kind of valuation is being a dominant leader in these various categories. We're talking beyond cars.
Start it up, let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding, hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.
Remember back a few episodes, we had an episode called Who Can Confront Elon?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I like that episode.
And we were kind of like, holy smokes. Like, remember about the story about the sticker I put on the back of my Tesla? The elbows up.
Elbows
so
up.
Like,
I saw one the other day. Is like, I bought this for I knew Elon was crazy. And I was like, I like that. I think you should go with that
or
one.
the people that drive the Cybertruck and have the big Toyota.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, I remember we put an image up during the episode.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool. So somebody is going to confront Elon, it looks like.
Yeah, sort of. I saw this too. I know where you're going with this, but keep going.
So just a little bit of background is that Tesla's proposed an unprecedented $1 trillion compensation package for CEO Elon Musk. Obviously,
$1
the
trillion?
biggest. Yeah, obviously,
isn't Canada's GDP like, I don't know, $1.5 trillion?
I think it's like 2 point.
Oh, really? Oh, good for us.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
like consider like, but in the, how many Elons are we? You know what
we're
I mean?
only like two
Two
Elons.
Elons.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's crazy because you think about all like the gas and oil that they pump out of Western Canada. Like you would think that would be worth more than
literally everything we do. Literally
what we're doing right now is probably
like
included.
All the speculation of everything we could do, like all of it. There you go. Anyway,
all right.
Okay, fine.
So you might remember too that back in 2018 he got a $56 billion package. Everybody thought that was insane.
$1 trillion is a million millions?
No. It's
is that
a billion is 1,000 million.
Yeah, so $1 trillion is a million. Or is it more than that?
No.
Graham's yelling
so,
from the back.
No. So it's always 1,000.
10,000?
Right?
He's saying it's 10,000. It's less. That's not enough.
Yeah. So then it's 1,000 billions.
1,000 billions.
So a million.
So they're offering to pay him 1,000 billions.
Yeah. So 1,000
I like it better.
millions
Let's phrase it that
is
way.
a billion. 1,000 billions is a trillion.
Wow.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
That's quite the comp.
You're good at math.
Go on.
All right.
Yeah, remember, we don't do math live if we can avoid it. Like,
public math is a no-no.
Not a fan. Keep going.
Okay. So the new package structure, so potential value is actually 975 billion to 1 trillion. There are 12 tranches. I love saying tranche. Of restricted stock grants. It's not options either, like it was in 2008. And Musk's stake increase. So right now he has about 13% of Tesla. So he would end up being about 25 to 29%.
Wow.
And he would have voting control. So this apparently is something he's come out in the media and said he wants voting control over Tesla.
Okay. Isn't his brother on the board?
Yeah,
like Gary Musk.
Stacks.
I don't actually know his name, but something like that.
Yeah, actually, I think it's a cool name, but I don't remember it.
Okay,
I think he's a restaurateur or something like that. But anyways,
what is that? Sorry, like somebody who opens restaurants.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say if it's just like going to restaurants, then I'm also a restaurateur. Continue.
Being a restaurant patron is not the same as being a restaurateur.
I like food.
Just to put things in perspective, these new milestones are 28 times higher than the 2008 package. So
that was the one that got killed, right? In Delaware? That they tried to do in Delaware, but then the shareholders got all mad, and then they
actually I think it's still in the courts. Like, it hasn't been settled yet.
I thought that's why they moved to Texas.
Yeah,
so they wouldn't have to fight.
I thought he left California though too because he just got mad at California.
Well, California like screwed him or like was messing around with him because of his political views. Right. I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea.
It was something like that, or at least that's what he attributed it to.
Yeah.
And then in Delaware, I'm pretty sure the shareholders have more rights in a Delaware core.
Mm-hmm.
So that he was just like, hey, I don't want to deal with that either. So it was like a double win to move to Texas and probably other massive incentives from the state of Texas.
Yeah. Okay. So let me put a few more numbers out there. I just like table setting on this stuff. So he wants this voting control. So we already mentioned that. The timeline to do this is 10 years. Okay. Currently, Tesla's valued at 1.1 trillion. So half of Canada.
Okay, cool.
The
Yes, I
ultimate,
wonder how many units of Canada can we get into this?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
0.5 Canada.
Cool.
The ultimate target is 8.5 trillion,
That's
which
like
is
that's like 4 Canadas.
it's almost 8 times growth.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 Canadas.
4 Canadas.
Well, maybe a little less than 4 Canadas. Like
Okay,
3
around 4 Canadas.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Plus minus half Canada.
It's actually an incremental steps. It starts at 2 trillion. It increases by 500 billion increments up until $6.5 trillion market valuation, and then $1 trillion increments up to the 8.5. Okay, so they've kind of tranched it.
Yep.
So just to put it in perspective, too, the 8.5 trillion exceeds the current combined market caps of Meta, Microsoft, and Alphabet, or Google.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have so many thoughts about this. I think on the one hand, you have we're trying to get Elon to work on this angle from that board.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
There's the other angle of the absurdity of the valuation, which you're talking about, or like I don't know if absurdity is the right word, but the significant increase in the valuation of that company, and like where does that come from?
Right.
And I have thoughts on that as well.
Okay.
How do you want to attack this? I'm ready to let's go.
Okay, so I want to talk about something Dad always used to say to me. We've talked about the photocopier dealership on the show before. So
in the book,
our dad owned a photocopier dealership. Dad had a lot of really good sayings. One of my favorites that he had was, and this was primarily for sales departments, but it was all, I think it also applies to HR departments, is that the solution to every problem is in the comp plan. Okay.
Like yes and no. I get the spirit of what he's saying. So yes, okay, fine.
What do you mean yes and no?
Because,
if there are any absolutes in business, I feel like this is one of them.
No, okay, Elon Musk is an extremely vain person, and I think being the first trillionaire is appealing to something that's actually not about. It is about the money, but it's also not. It's also like he wants to be the first trillionaire for the title of being the first trillionaire.
So it's about the money, and it's
like
about,
indirectly.
like,
it's like I think of it as a title bump, and I think and there's obviously because like what he can buy everything he wants. For sure, right now.
What's the increment after trillion? Like I feel like it's like he's good for a while being the first trillionaire. Like
we already failed at doing the math.
Yeah, I know.
How many billions are in a trillion?
Whatever that unit of measure is beyond a trillion.
A teraflop. I got quadrillion. I already said that.
Thank you. Actually,
sorry, Graham yelled it from the back, and I said it.
All right. At the risk of public,
run back the tape. I said quadrillion. Anyway, keep going.
Right. So we'll say quadrillion. So the likelihood of 1,000 trillions is pretty tough and will not be hit for the foreseeable future. So maybe being the first trillionaire is something that's actually
I think that's
to Musk.
Obviously meaningful.
Yeah.
But I think the point of the comp plan, I think what Dad's trying to say to get people to change. But I want to go back to like the idea. Remember, wasn't it something like after it probably changed now? I would say historically, it was like 10 years ago, it was like after $75,000 of pay. More pay doesn't really influence people as much as very strong diminishing returns.
Right.
So so that's probably, let's just upgrade that to like 85,000 now. So, or something like that. And after or 100,000, after you get more pay, like it doesn't change you that much. That's the only thing I was trying to say there. So like for Dad, like he's right. Yes, a lot of, if you want to change behavior, it's in the comp plan, but I think there's other pieces too, like satisfaction for employees, but that doesn't matter. I understand where you're going with this, and fair enough. Okay. So it's in the comp plan. They're trying to comp this guy to do something different.
Yeah.
Yes. So agreed.
Okay. So what does this work?
Yeah. I think I don't know if he gets there, but I think that is a hugely appealing thing that someone as egotistical as we've learned through the Doge stuff and everything else that Elon's been doing, that this is going to be something that I think he wants to pursue and he wants to take on. It is his most reasonable shot, or probably at $1 trillion, right? And I think that's this board trying to really focus this guy on Tesla, but not just on Tesla, but on Tesla being the focal point of his portfolio. Yeah. So let me talk about what I kind of mean here. And I've read a little bit about this because I found this wildly interesting. I'm like, how do I get $1 trillion conversation play? Remember we were talking a couple weeks ago about the AI people, who, like data scientists and stuff, who are getting like professional athlete offers,
like
$100 million, $200 million
signing bonus
for Meta and stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, hang on, hold on to your hat. Like, what is the next thing that's going to happen? But So the reason why I think this is interesting is that they've talked, or Elon's spoken a lot about how he wants to take different pieces of technology that he's working on, like Grok, so his AI tool, XAI, all this stuff, and some of the other functions, and basically put them into Tesla. Okay, like leverage Tesla's existing infrastructure through both manufacturing and distribution and all these other things, introduce more sophisticated AI into it. And to reach the kind of numbers you're talking about, this board thinks that that is A, doable, and B, the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that thinks also that the way that Tesla is going to reach that kind of valuation is being a dominant leader in these various categories. We're talking beyond cars.
Yep.
Okay. So I think they're going to sell more cars because he's going to back away from the politics stuff, which is kind of happening. I wasn't sure if there's any clause in there. Maybe you can talk about that in a second. If there's a clause in there about how him being involved in political activities or something. Yep. But I think fundamentally what this comes down to is, hey, Elon, we think you're right about this idea of mixing it all together. We think you're a really exceptional person, which obviously he is. Whether you hate him or love him, it's true. And then also we think that you're going to bring new capabilities to Tesla that people aren't really thinking actively. The average person is not thinking about right now. Tesla robots, as an example.
Okay, so I have some information on that actually.
Oh, cool.
I'm prepared to share and get your hot take.
Hot take.
So obviously there are some goals that he has to, some milestones he has to hit. Specifically with the Optimus humanoid robots, the target is that he has to have 1 million robots delivered.
By when? By 10 years from now?
So it's tranches. So the 2025 goal is just several thousand units, so 5 to 10,000. 2026, 50,000 units.
This year, 2025, he has to have robots out there.
He has to have 5 to 10,000.
Are robots out there now?
I think he must be starting.
Where are they making them? Are they making them at the Gigafactory?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't have that data.
Okay. All right, cool.
But 2026 is when it really starts ramping up. So 50,000 Optimus humanoid robots.
Graham, look up if they're making them at the Gigafactory, man. I want to know that. But
the initial use is going to be in Tesla factories.
Okay.
And Musk, his vision on this is he says that Optimus can make Tesla worth 25 trillion or 80% of future value. So he thinks that the humanoid robot Optimus is going to be actually 80% of the value of the company rather than the cars.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, well, I don't think, for one thing, the car market is way more competitive than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, definitely 10 years ago. They have, I think, effectively have more or less lost in China. And that sucks for them because that's a humongous market. And there's a lot of really credible competitors that learn from following what they were doing in China.
Yeah.
They learned from Tesla. We talked about this before too. What I do think is kind of interesting is remember you told me to listen to one of the recent Diary of a CEO podcasts with that Romanowski or whatever, the crazy guy. Really interesting.
I don't think he's crazy.
Well, crazy, terrifying. As the guys were going to land there.
All right.
But he kind of talked about how AI is going to displace 99% of employment, which is
99%.
So everybody kind of thinks of anything at a computer, okay? But then you're the plumbers, right?
They're not safe either.
Now the plumbers aren't safe because if we have robots doing this that are AI powered, then you're actually right. That it's going to potentially crush those markets as well.
I liked his comment when he was everybody thinks of the robots being the Star Wars robots, where they're kind of dorks
and
they're kind of useless. They're kind of dumb.
Yeah,
they bump into each other, all that sort of stuff. And I don't think these ones are going to be like that at all.
I saw, not to go on too big a segue, but have you seen there was the Robot Olympics? Yeah. I think it was in Japan or China or something. They didn't look great.
No.
They could do a backflip.
Some of them they were tethered, and the guy was running behind with it with the cable.
Oh, really?
And stuff like that.
Isn't it basically a giant puppet? At that point,
but it's robotic.
But anyway, I think seeing Elon sees the vision there that in moving into consumer markets with you can buy a robot for 25 grand, and then you have a robot. I honestly thinking about it right now. I got a house with a couple kids, probably gonna have another one. I might actually use a freaking robot. You know what I mean? It actually could be really helpful.
I think your next house.
I do have a lot of stairs, which is kind of a weird flex, but it's just the house is narrow.
Optimus, carry me upstairs.
Optimus, wipe me.
That'd be great though, because then I don't have to do that for your daughter.
She told you were bad at it.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
but for real though, like there is a consumer play there that is legitimate.
Yeah.
And I think enormous. There'll be competition, but Tesla is uniquely positioned to be like, doing all the right stuff in terms of like the lithium battery piece, like way down the supply chain to the manufacturing, to the distribution, America located, America country, like a lot of good things going for
I think
it.
what's interesting is,
although he's not friends with Donald Trump anymore, I think that could be interesting.
I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
So I want to just make a point about, I think
Also,
initially,
Sam Parr called that when we come to that point. But anyway, okay, we'll come back.
I think about that, when I think back to like 2018 and what Tesla was doing, and like they had like the robot, they had like he was doing the AI stuff and the space stuff, and it all seemed very disconnected. And I think it's all coming together now. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting, is that I think the master plan is actually felt really off, and now feels very visionary.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I definitely agree. So now we're gonna have, a SpaceX rocket with a Tesla robot in it flying to Mars. Like all these things are happening.
Okay,
that's kind of fascinating.
So now let's talk about the politics angle, because
hang on, Graham, do we know where they're making those Fremont, California.
Oh,
okay. So they're still stuck in California making those robots. That'll be interesting. Pilot. All right, cool. All right. Let's see what happens.
So,
Elon, you want to bring that to Canada? I'm sure we'll give you some incentives. Anyway, or we should, for the love of God. Anyway,
I don't know if he's
he's not coming up here.
The government's Christmas.
He went to Queens. Maybe he's like, hey, Kingston, Ontario, set up the world-changing robot factory. You've read the best. Now try the rest. Wait. Who wrote this? Check out Startup Different on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Okay, so let's talk about politics now. So obviously that didn't go over well, especially with people like me having to put stickers on the back of my car.
Tesla Auto Mall there on Pennsylvania Avenue. It was great. I love Tesla.
It's all computers.
It's all computer. Yeah, anyway.
So
it didn't work out.
I think everybody could have predicted this, but the whole Trump-Musk relationship fell apart.
Yep.
So that was back in June 2025. And big disagreements around tariffs, but also all the spending that all of a sudden, the big, beautiful bill, all that sort of stuff, lots of personal attacks. And
ad hominems.
Tesla stock, drove me nuts. Do you remember the episode where we were talking about this and I went to the Tesla stock?
Yeah.
And actually it dropped a ton, but actually if you went back a full year, it was still up, which kind of was annoying, because in a way I wanted some real pain,
a really deep
for the Tesla board, so they would
then
then address this. Well, now they're finally kind of addressing this, so that's good. I didn't realize this as well, but
I mean, their sales were crushed though. Like I think they felt real
their
pain.
Profitability was crushed bit more than anything.
Yeah,
because they went from being highly
that's
profitable.
What they're doing there though, right?
Because they weren't selling enough, and then they had all their expenses, so their profit margins got really squeezed. Actually, our dad,
Dad
was
got in on it.
One of the few people that bought
Dad
Tesla.
always gets in on it.
Yeah,
he finds a way to find these crazy deals, and it drives me nuts.
He's great. He runs towards fire. Like he knows when the deal is going to happen.
He sits on it. He waits for them to buckle.
Yeah.
Papa Sinkinson getting her done.
Anyways, so Dad got his Tesla at an incredible
Literally
deal,
never called him Papa. Sorry, keep going, man.
I didn't know this either, but I knew a little bit of this. Like Elon is actually involved in a lot of politics around the world. So there was the Germany thing with that.
I thought Europe kind of like kicked him out.
Yeah. 18 other countries across 6 continents affected by his political activity. So he's pretty involved in this stuff. And obviously this had huge impact on Tesla. So I think they're trying to pivot him away from that sort of stuff. And that seems to be, I think, is a really good thing. I think he should just stay quiet, build cool stuff, and let us cheer him on. And
I mean, people will never forget that though. People will never forget Doge.
Yeah,
like that will always be a mark on his legacy. This is really tough
for me, because like I drive a Tesla and I feel bad for the engineer that built like full self-driving.
Yeah.
And then has Elon go out there and, kind of torch the
truly
reputation
like
of the company.
world-changing technology that it became associated with this guy who like carried a chainsaw into Congress or something.
Oh, it was in some
Whatever.
conference or
You know what
something
I'm
like that.
saying?
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
right?
But yeah, pretty
A
rough
figurative
stuff.
chainsaw into Congress, a literal chainsaw at some event. So
All right, so I want to hit you for some questions and just get your hot takes. Can you do it in 10 years?
yeah. I think so.
Okay.
I think so because a lot of things. So a lot's going to change, and I think that we talked about last week about the singularity and AGI. Actually, ever having listened to Romanowski or whatever, I think our terms got a little conflated. But I think the fact of the matter is, lots about to change. We don't really know what's going to happen, and I think this potentially presents a very unique moment in history to have exceptional opportunity if you happen to be really well positioned, which for versus the average entrepreneur, obviously Elon Musk is exceptionally well positioned.
Yeah.
So I think if anybody's going to pull it off, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
You know?
So if he gets to 8 trillion in 10 years, he's saying the valuation.
What's NVIDIA worth right now? Sorry, I don't mean
4 point.
So like
billion?
it's not outrageous. Yeah, it's not outrageous that like a company could like double. Like NVIDIA could be in that ballpark easily in 10 years.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Right.
So 10 years. Okay. He's saying that 80% of the valuation of that company in 10 years will be the Optimus Robotics AI piece. Okay. So he's not really going to do it with cars. Like the car is going to be a piece of it. He might double the valuation based on the vehicles, but he's going to do it with robots. Yeah. And what's really interesting is Trump obviously is saying, putting up tariffs, build your factory here. The only problem is it's going to be all robots running these factories. It's not going to be, he's not saying bring your jobs 100%. Here. He's saying bring your factories here, and 100%. It's going to be loaded up with robots.
I think one thing we haven't really addressed here either, though, is the issue that OpenAI and some of these other early movers in the AI space, some of the winners right now, a lot of them have made major investments in hardware robotics companies.
Yeah.
And some of these robotics companies are also that are not associated with these AI platforms also will have really good products by the time they go to market. Really, I think what's going to happen here is it's as usual, a function of distribution. And because Elon can produce these things pretty reasonably easily, because he has at least some experience with amazing engineers and the Gigafactory and all these other things they're doing, and the direct access to some of these raw materials, I think that's actually going to be the thing that makes them potentially more successful than some of these other moves. That'll be interesting to see. But I do think it'll be competitive. I don't want to say this is going to be like some sort of monopoly. I think this will be tighter, but it'll become such a part of everyone's lives that I think it'll move the market.
So yeah, good point. So I did want to touch on the competition piece. So there's kind of like two factors in the competition. I think there's the EV competition.
Yeah.
Like the other
that's here though. I think we're dealing with that actively.
The other one is kind of like the unknown piece, which is like the robotics, the AI, that kind of stuff. And I think that's actually the growth market. So I see them as having kind of like, traditional car makers in the EV space, the GMs, the Toyotas, the whatever, making EVs to compete with them. And that's kind of like a known. Like they're going to be there. Yeah. They're going to have to deal with that. The unknown is the OpenAI and those guys going into that robotic space.
That's the known unknown.
Is it the known unknown?
Yeah, because but you don't know.
Sorry, that's right. Thank you.
Who was it? Was it Donald Rumsfeld who had this? Like the whole during the Iraq War. Yeah. He's like, you got your unknown. He got all jumbled up, and he just like stopped responding.
So no public math and no public logic.
Yeah. It's just a really dumbed down show for the benefit of the hosts. But yeah, that's correct. We just don't know how that's going to play out. So I do think that's kind of fascinating. But it'll be competitive. But I just think it's so lucrative because it's like literally every household above a certain income, and if they get these things priced at a certain level, you could see it being really appealing. Like you could see it displacing weird markets too, like the nanny market, like you know what I mean, and like the
plumber
home
market.
Caretaker market, the manual labor market. Maybe it's going to be a saving grace for the U.S. government because they're certainly deporting a lot of people who do a lot of manual labor these days, and I feel like they were going to have to find means to replace that, and it might be robots.
Yeah. So, all right, we're a show about startups, and if you're a budding entrepreneur, what kind of business are you starting right now?
Do I want to be in the robot space? Like it's competitive now, and it's not a trivial thing to get into because it's so hardware focused and costly.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
That's big. We always talk about minimum viable products, and how do you minimum viable a humanoid robot. Yeah.
I don't know. We have to think about like, how can we play into this growing space and find opportunity that's more niche?
I see.
You know, you're not going to make the robot, but can you do something for the robot? Can you do like the Canada arm of the robot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there some niche way to play into this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm landing on this whole thing is like, I think he can do it. I think it's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be really impressive.
I think there's one other thing that I think that we want to leave people with, which is the value of the comp plan and understanding that you can even rein in Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And with a well enough structured plan, something that appeals to both ego and finances is actually a pretty lethal way.
One thing I did want to leave you with is that if none of the 12 tranches are achieved, he gets nothing at all. So
he'll achieve some
for Tesla and for Elon. It's an all or nothing.
I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's the right way to do it.
It's a big risk.
Cool. He doesn't need more financial security. It's about getting to the trillion. Nobody cares about anything in between.
I guess you get a T-shirt maybe if you.
Yeah, well, you can go in Vistaprint and you can order your own T-shirt. Yeah, what do they do? Do they have a party? Like I guess they have a pretty freaking good party, man. So
anyway. Remember Seinfeld? #1 dad versus world's greatest dad.
Yeah.
World's first trillionaire.
Mandelbaum. Anyway.
On that note.
All right, folks. We'll catch you next week.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.